try to be true to your faith.
Chart-topping Christian singer Trey Pearson struggled with his question for 2 decades, trying to convince himself he was not gay, even marrying a woman and having children. But just 3 days ago, he embraced who he really was publicly by coming out and starting a whole new conversation in the Christian community. Please welcome Trey Pearson. First of all, I just want to say welcome to the community.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That means a lot.
On Tuesday, you came out to the world in a beautiful letter that I read. It was absolutely heartfelt and touching. Why did you decide to do it right now?
I have slowly been coming out to friends and family for about the last 6 months. A little over 6 months ago, I was able to finally accept who I was and be able to admit to myself that I was gay. And it was a really long, difficult journey to be able to get to that point, but I'm very thankful for being able to get there. As you said, I was married and I have 2 beautiful children, and it's just one of those things that I knew how important it was, what I had gone through and the difficulty I had gone through, to be able to have that transparency to tell other people and hopefully help other people.
Why do you think it was hard for you? Was it because of your faith, or was it because of your upbringing?
Yeah. So I grew up in a Christian home that and church where I was taught that God hated homosexuality. Church where I was taught that God hated homosexuality. That I could choose to be straight. And I tried for a really long time. And I don't think I was ever trying to lie to anyone. I think I was trying to convince myself that I could be something that I wasn't. And so I put all of my faith into that. And I think, it's scary because a lot of the church continues to teach that this is a choice.
They don't realize how damaging it can be in people's lives and how it can affect people's families and people's families. And
just like it has me, it's something that I've grown very passionate about, seeing that change in the church. And we've had to go through a lot of things as a society, as a church, and this is something that I think, as a story like this moves millions of people and people are talking all about it all over the world, a story of hope, a story of restoration, a story of truth, story of truth.
It's scary as hell when you're going through it yourself.
It is, but when it connects with so many people, there's still people that are teaching these hurtful things, and they're the ones that get scared when millions of people connect with it and they want to start to say that you're the false teacher. But they never start to think maybe it's their false teaching that causes the things like this to happen in the first place.
Trey, interestingly, my brother's gay. When he came out, it was really hard for my parents in dealing with their faith.
Sure.
And looking back, my brother says, there's not a moment where you just know you're gay. It takes a while because I don't even think using that word in his own mind was okay, because he wasn't okay with it.
Absolutely.
When do you trace back, though, knowing maybe there's something else here that I'm not honoring?
I mean, I definitely know that I've always had attractions for other guys since adolescence. But they were things that I always felt really horrible about, really guilty about, and so I always just tried to push them down, and I always wanted to know what it was like to fall in love. And when you grow up not knowing what it would be like as a straight person to fall in love, you assume that your experience is what it should feel like. And so, it's not that I was trying to hope some miracle would happen by getting married, or somehow I would get changed. I just put all my faith into thinking that's how it was supposed to be, and that it would all work when I got married, and I could be the kind of man and husband my wife needed me to be.
Magically.
Magically
happen. Trey, on that note, I want to ask, because you have 2 kids, you got married, what has your family's reaction to all of this been?
They've been unbelievably loving and supportive.
That's amazing.
My wife, Lauren, she has been on this journey with me for a long time. We were married 7.5 years. We were together 10 years. And so by the time I came to this point, she already knew how difficult this whole thing had been in the first place. And by the time I was able to tell myself and then tell her, she just hugged me and cried and told me how proud of me she was for being able to be honest with myself. And she has been my biggest supporter, my biggest advocate, her with my oldest sister, and even for my family, where it's a thing that obviously they've taught me what they've been taught and what they know, but they also want to understand. The day that my story came out, my dad was at work and he read it, and he showed up on my porch while I was curled up on the couch, not sure what people would think, who would be talking about it. And he just knocked on the door. I had no idea he was coming, and he just hugged me for like 10 minutes and just told me how much he loved me.
That's really nice. That's very nice.
It's very nice.
Good for them. But let me ask you, Trey, I know, do you still, first of all, do you still consider yourself a Christian? Are you still
Absolutely.
in the faith? You have
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm more in love with Jesus and the scriptures than ever. And
Really?
as I've progressed in my faith and as I've experienced this grace, this restoration, this being able to embrace truth without being scared of what people that live in fear
Well, what about
feel
the
like.
church? How's the church reacted?
There are all kinds of wonderful people in the church. It's changing right now. We've had to go through a lot of things, you know. There's times where we've had to go through what it's like for women's rights, what it's been like for black people's rights, black people's rights, for minorities' rights. This happens to be a pressing issue of our time.
That's right.
But it is changing, and I want to see our church change. I want to see my denomination change. I want to see people to be willing to have the conversation in an open way where they're willing to listen to people's stories. And that's why I think it's so important to tell, because there are millions, it's not just me, there are millions of people going through what I'm going through right now.
Right. I believe that.
So, Trey, my question for you is, what does life look like now? Are you dating? What's going on now?
Yeah. No, I'm not dating. I decided when I was going through all of this to take at least a year just to get to know myself as a gay person, to know
Good job.
this new part of me, and thank you. Before I start getting to know who somebody else is in that sort of way. And I have my ex-wife and my two beautiful kids that we share every other week. We hang out every week. We have dinner together as a family every week, and that's where my focus is. My focus is on being who I need to be for them, being healthy for them, and being healthy for myself. That way I can be healthy for other people.
I just want to say I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I am so proud of you. I felt a little bit of pressure to come out, and it took me a minute, and it's still taking my family a minute as well, so I understand the struggle, and stick together, LGBT community will rise.
Yeah.
Our thanks to Trey Pearson. We'll be right back.